So here's a dude out here on the corner of Franklin and Highland. He doesn't know I'm filming him. This dude is homeless. I just pulled up to the light. Now look, I used to be a model. Where did he go? Hey, my man! Yo! I used to be a model. And I think this dude could be a model. I think he has a future. He's out here homeless. Let me see your sign, man.
The first day.
Begging sucks, compassion doesn't. What's your name, bro?
You're Tyrese, huh?
I am.
My name's Nathan.
Nathan, nice to meet you. Where you from?
I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin originally. Been out here about 5 years.
Yeah?
Struggling.
Struggling? You're not on any drugs, alcohol, or nothing like that, right?
No, I went through a rehab. I had to. I got busted, obviously.
Yeah.
If you do drugs in LA, you're gonna get caught eventually.
Yeah.
I got busted, and I put myself into a program. And I don't want to be around that shit no more. And
Yeah.
I'm just trying to build the pieces back right now, and it's harder than I thought it was gonna be.
Hey, man, I just seen you out here holding this sign, and I said to myself, man, I used to model. And I'm like, I know he's got a sign that said, let me see your sign again. Begging sucks, compassion doesn't. But I was like, man, you got some modeling potential.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's out here on the corner of Highland and Franklin Avenue, and this is LA.
I hear that a lot.
You know what I'm saying? This is LA, man. What color are your eyes, man? I'm just asking questions because there's a lot of people gonna see this video.
They change. They go from hazel blue to a dark green to a gray. They can change to a gray.
Oh wow!
Sometimes it all depends on what I'm wearing and my mood.
And how many hours a day are you out here?
I'm out here from usually I work from 11 till 4 every day.
Wow! And this is your food and stuff, right? This is your belonging on top of that. They give you food and coffee.
The police just arrested me on Thursday for nothing, for a sleeping on the sidewalk ticket. Took me to jail. Luckily, I had a friend that bailed me out.
Oh, wow.
Otherwise, I wouldn't even be here right now.
Wow.
So I'm trying to work right now to pay him off.
I got you. Well, guess what? I got a couple hundred on me. I'm gonna go on and get you right. But I'm putting this video up, and I'm asking for all of the LA models, modeling agencies, news journalists, press, and media. This is, what's your name again?
My name's Nathan Osheim.
Nathan?
Osheim.
Nathan Osheim. I want y'all to come out here to the corner of Franklin Avenue and Highland. And Nathan is here like 8 hours a day. And if you have an opportunity for him to do some modeling, some extra work on a movie set or a TV show or something, you know, this is a handsome brother. He deserves an opportunity. Pause all across the board for any fellas that's thinking that. But I used to model. I had a little background, and I recognize a face that if you photograph by the right person, it can lead to a lot of different opportunities. So we'll see what happens, man. I think a lot of people's gonna see this video.
I appreciate you putting me out there. I hear it all day long, every day, that I should be a model and I should be in movies, but it's hard to get a stepping stone to have someone take me in, you know.
Hey man, listen, I have a God-given platform called social media, and having this many followers and this many people around the world following me don't mean anything if you don't use it to benefit others. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I got my new album just came out. I'm gonna give you a copy.
Right.
It's called Black Rose. So y'all know what to do, baby. Let me see my backpack. Get this going. That's how you spread love to all you agencies out there. Y'all know what to do. Hey man, a lot of people gonna see this video. That's yours, sir.
All right.
This is my best. This is #1 in many different countries. And everybody loves music. Everybody loves the inspiration that comes from music. So I want you to stay encouraged, man. Stay encouraged. I'm gonna pray for you, give you some love, some energy, and a lot of energy is gonna come from this, man. So why don't you just invite people? Look, come down, invite. You're invited to come over here and say hello. Just say it.
Come on over and give me a chance. It's something, man. I need it. And I mean, obviously I got the looks. I guess that's what people keep telling me. I don't really believe it in myself, but if someone give me an opportunity, I'm sure I can bring something to the table. I'm sure I can
Bless you, brother. Bless you, man.
Put something on.
All right. I wish I had an MP3 of it, man, but all I have is a CD.
I got a CD player, man.
Oh, nice, nice. I like the way you do it, babe. All right, man. Bless you, man. All right.
A special thanks goes out to Tyrese Gibson for filming that intro that you just heard. Nathan, before we get started this evening, why don't you give us a little brief introduction about yourself? Who is Nathan?
All right. Well, I am a very complex being, I guess is one way to explain it. I'm a very educated thinker, as I would like to call it, just by way of going through the streets and the lifestyle that I lived. I became very in tune with reading people and just a different view of society, if you will. I believe I'm very educated in the streets, and I look at the world in a different view, I guess.
Being homeless once myself out there in Hollywood, I felt that it taught me how to think outside of the box, to see the world in a whole new perspective.
Yes, most definitely. I love, that's one of my passions, is to see things from a different perspective. I like to take other people's views and opinions and digest them myself and come up with my own thoughts and process that information as well. So I gained a lot from my homelessness or houselessness or whichever word you want to use to classify it. But through my adversary or whatever, I think I gained a lot of knowledge that I would have never gained in any other type of format of education. I've been talking a lot with my cousin. My cousin was also homeless with me. I don't know if you remember my cousin Chris, but we went through a lot of struggles, and right now to this day, I don't think I'd take anything back. I would live the life that I lived just because of the simple fact that I learned so much from it, and I gained so much knowledge and wisdom, and it changed me as a person. You know, I think it changed me as a better individual. That low perspective of being outside of the box, as you would say, yeah, I think it greatly benefited me.
So, where are you originally from?
Originally, I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which I am back in Milwaukee, Wisconsin right now. The weather's not too good, kind of cold, end of winter, but I'm dealing with it. I'm back in Milwaukee right now. I'm trying to do the best that I can in the situation that I'm in. I got a job, which is great, working for a cleaning company right now, and I believe I'm doing very well right now. I'm in a stable living environment. It's not exactly what I want it to be, but I'm taking good strides to become what I want to be in the future. And I'm remaining positive. Positivity is a huge thing. I tried, even in my most negative times in my life of being homeless and stuff, I always remained positive. I think, I know you from the streets in Hollywood, and you also were a very positive person. And I think you probably would have seen that a lot in me, that I just remained positive through everything I was going through day to day.
Nathan, what brought you to Hollywood? How did that all go down?
Hollywood, yeah. Okay, so to bring it back to my cousin, I always had a dream to go out to California. They call it California dreaming or whatever. I had this notion that that's like where I wanted to be. So I went back and forth to Arizona. I've been to all different states, all across the United States. And I went out to Arizona, met up with my cousin, and I kind of planned it out to where I want to go to California before I become too old. So we drove from Tucson, Arizona to, we actually stopped in Compton. We stayed on Avalon and Vernon, slept in the car. We had a friend that was from Compton. And, yeah, I got to see, like, supposedly the worst of the worst streets. Me and my cousin walked around day and night. Two white guys in not-so-good neighborhoods. Kind of crazy. But that was my introduction to California. And the friend of ours told us about Hollywood and how there was huge parties and you could make money and, doing all types of stuff. Flying a sign, panhandling, just sitting on the curb, playing a guitar, you can make some money or whatever. I don't don't play guitar, but my cousin kind of dabbles with music and stuff. So yeah, we went out to Hollywood, and I instantly fell in love with it. I can't lie, man. My feet hit that boulevard, and I was home. I remember distinctly, like, looking at my cousin like, I'm never leaving. That was it for me. The insanity of Hollywood. I love the chaos. I love the culture shock of just all different varieties and types of people. That it's amazing the complex culture of people that you see.
I've always found Los Angeles being quite diverse.
Extremely diverse. You have the richest of the richest and the poorest of the poorest. I mean, you got the coolest down-to-earth street kids, hippies, train kids that have seen the world. And I love experiencing what they've experienced through their experiences. I love to conversate. That's, I'm sure you can tell right now I'm probably talking a lot. But I love conversation. I love connection. I think that's what my truest love is just connection with people. And I found a lot of real people on the streets of Hollywood. Just real people with real stories, and I just fell in love with it, man. I didn't want to leave.
So with the thought of California dreaming, did you have ambitions to go out there and become a model or an actor?
Well, the thing is, I don't know, like the video in Tyrese, a lot of people put comments out there that I mentioned that a lot of people tell me that I should be a model or an actor, and then I have a face for it, and I guess I kind of have like this swag or whatever you want to call it, that I have kind of like, I mean, being homeless, you have to act day to day. You have to be an actor. You have to tell people what they want to hear and give a little act to make them like you, because it's not too easy for people to like you when you're homeless. I've been told this since I was a little kid, that my eyes are beautiful and I should be, a model, and since I was about 6 or 7. And like I said in the Tyrese video, I don't know if I see it too much in myself. I guess I'm just self-conscious or not really aware of my possibilities as being a model or an actor. But I hear it all the time. I would hear it every day, maybe 3 times a day, from all types of people in Rolls Royces and Bentleys and, producers, directors, other actors that I was like, oh my God, you're so-and-so. And they'd be like, what are you, like, a lot of people were kind of angry too. What are you doing on the street, man? Like, you could really be something. And I was dirty at that point where, I didn't shower for however long period of time. And I just, like, are you just telling me this to make me feel better, or is it really a possibility? And of course, at that point, I wasn't doing so well in my life with my downfall, addiction, and I wasn't too happy with myself, I guess you could say.
You're tuned in to Smooth Talk Radio, and we'll be right back with our guest, Nathan Osheim. Nathan, before the break, we were talking about, as you put it, your downfall or your addiction. So my question is, what's the difference between someone taking a drug and actually becoming an addict? Where do they draw the line there?
That's a good question. My main drug is something that you don't enjoy after a while. After a few weeks, you don't enjoy it anymore. It becomes an addiction to where you need it. Specifically speaking of heroin, opiates in general. I mean, OxyContin, Percocets, anything opiate related. I don't know if it's even fun when you first start it, because you just become inebriated to the point where you can't even think. You can't make rational decisions. But anyways, taking a drug and becoming an addict. Yeah, heroin I think is probably the worst drug out there. It takes a hold of you. after a while, you don't even want to use anymore. You become hateful against yourself, that you put yourself in this position. But you cannot allow yourself to go through those withdrawals, because those withdrawals are horrible. And if you don't know anything about heroin, after you take it for a certain amount of time, you have to take more and more and more to get that same effect. Sometimes you have to take more and more and more just to feel normal, just to get that normalization of that you're not in pain.
Is that where that term dope sick comes from?
Dope sick, yeah, what you would call it. I think it's the fear of the withdrawals that keeps you going. You're not even getting that high anymore. It's just the fear of going through that pain. So it really takes over your life. It takes everything from you: money, family, friends, relationships, even to the point where you neglect your own human self to obtain this feeling. It's a sad case.
How old were you when you were first introduced to drugs?
Age-wise, I was about 16 years old. Actually, I was 15 years old. I just got into high school, started hanging around with the wrong people. A lot of people say, oh, weed's not a gateway drug, and, you can just smoke weed, but weed leads to other drugs. And people that are doing one drug, even if it is marijuana, they have access to other drugs. And that's kind of where it went for me. It started off as smoking marijuana to be cool, or, be in a crowd of people that I associated with. And then I think it started off where a friend of mine was getting pills from his parents' cabinet, and I believe they were Oxycontins. And we started experimenting with that as children, 15 years old. And then it just escalated. I always hung out with older kids as well, so the older kids knew what they were doing and taught us younger kids different ways of doing them, sniffing them, and doing that leads to injection, for opiates. And it escalates pretty quick. And like you said, there's a lot of deaths with opiate addicts, and there's a lot of other pain that comes with that drug that you don't really realize until you get deeper into it. People do die very easily, and I've dealt with a lot of deaths, accidental deaths. I don't want to say suicide, but almost basically suicide, purposeful overdoses, I would say. People doing way, way over the limit of what they know they should do. It's a sick thing. I have friends that have committed suicide because they were going through withdrawals. I have a few friends. A friend of mine just passed away a little less than a year ago. Really good guy.
I saw a post that you put on Facebook about a musician friend of yours that passed away, Mike Hobgood. Is that who you're talking about?
Mike, yeah.
We have a song of his that we'd like to play at Smooth Talk Radio called Dear Dad, and we've posted a link down below so that you can go and hear the song again or any of his other songs.
I just want to say, too, that this really explains the pain that an addict goes through. This song explains really what we go through on a day-to-day basis of just the agonizing pain of not only drug addiction, but also losing people in addiction. His father died as well, so that's why he made this song.
What can I do? This world is so rough. Bad things going on, and I know I had enough. I'm losing loved ones left and right. No job, so my money's tight. There's a battle in my head, and I'm losing that fight. Abandoned and alone throughout the whole night. I try to give it all, no hope in my side. No hope in my side. I'm loving my family, so I stay strong. But how long can I stay strong? Going on drinks after drinks, alcohol got me thinking wrong. Sometimes I feel like I don't belong. I'm trying to make it better in this bad weather. I never ever thought I'd get this bad. I never ever thought I'd be so sad. Forever and ever I'ma love you, Dad. The day you were taken, my heart breaking, my hand shaking. Life is changing, life is racing too damn fast. What I'm facing, I won't last. Times that I'm missing from the past. Things that I'm wishing won't come past. What can I do? This world is so rough. Bad things going on and I know I had enough. I'm losing loved ones left and right. No job so my money's tight. There's a battle in my head and I'm losing that fight. Abandoned and alone throughout the whole night. I try to give it all, no hope in my side. No hope in my side. I miss you so much that it hurts inside. If I could fly, then I would fly to the top of the heavens, to the top of the skies, no lie. I wish you were alive. I've been through it all. Family pictures on the wall. Do I dare when I fall? Brush it off, stand tall. Do I dare when I fall? Reminisce and stall. I can still picture us walking down the same hall. I still feel blessed for the things that I got. I thank you, Lord, and I love them a lot. I feel protected by your guardian right. Must be part of your plot, and my loving won't stop. So I keep my motivation through this frustration. In my situation, needing liberation from this isolation. It's like a rotation. You feeling my relation to my dedication. What can I do? This world is so rough. Bad things going on and I know I had enough. I'm losing loved ones left and right. No job so my money's tight. There's a battle in my head and I'm losing that fight. Abandoned and alone throughout the whole night. I try to give it all, no hope in my side. No hope in my side. It's been so long, it's been so long, it's been so long since you've been gone, since you've been gone. Too long. I don't know just what to do. I don't know just what to do. Can't live life without you. I can't live life without you. What can I do? This world is so rough. Bad things going on and I know I had enough. I'm losing loved ones left and right. No job so my money's tight. There's a battle in my head and I'm losing that fight. Abandoned and alone throughout the whole night. I try to give it all, no hope in my side. No hope in my side.
Me and Mike went to high school together, and we hung out. We had mutual friends. The real reason why me and him became good buddies is because we were both into hunting. We both enjoyed guns. One of his Facebook pictures is him with an AR-15 shooting it off at the range. That was his father's gun. When his father died, he got all of his guns and stuff. So we had a mutual love for guns and for the hunting aspect of it too. I call him my brother. He's my dad's best friend's son, and he's a big hunting friend of ours. And he got me into gunsmithing and fixing guns and learning different techniques and stuff, and playing with different types of guns, just taking them apart, cleaning them. He made bullets a lot. He also died a couple years ago from an overdose. He was prescribed fentanyl, and he was drinking, and he also died. A lot of death. He was a really close friend of mine. I looked at him as an older brother. But getting back to Mike, he was a really down to earth, loving guy. He really liked the aspect of love. He had a couple girlfriends that he kind of, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but he was just a very loving, caring individual, and sometimes people don't take too well to that. They kind of feel like you're a little bit over-loving or whatever. And I know he had a lot of problems with that, to where he really loved people, man, and people didn't respond well to his...
to his personality, right?
Yeah, his personality. So, from what I heard, I wasn't around when he actually committed suicide, but from what I heard, he was out there, panhandling downtown Milwaukee. It's nothing like Los Angeles. I don't think they make much money out here.
Throughout my travels, I've been through Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and all that I can remember was the weather being lousy.
The weather is horrible. It is cold most of the year. I mean, we have different seasons. Like, we have spring, we have fall, and different seasons. So that's nice. I can't wait for spring to see all the leaves come out and stuff. And it's really pretty. There's a lot of rain and stuff, which makes the landscape. It's very beautiful. But the winters are harsh. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about you leaving Los Angeles and getting back home to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. What happened there?
Funny story. I'm not too much of a religious person or a God person. I've had a lot of problems with that my whole life, but I do have, and it's not spiritual, but I do have a higher power. I got expedited. I got arrested, and I got shackled up and sent back to Milwaukee for child support that I owe. It's not too substantial of an amount, but I guess it was enough to bring me from California all the way back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I just did 9 months in jail, and I've been out for about 2 now, just trying to figure out where I left off and try to get my life back together. I do have a daughter out here. She is 6 years old, and she is just getting to that point where she is knowing that she has a father, and it feels good that I'm starting to be back in her life. I wasn't on the best terms with the mother of my child, and that was one of the many reasons I left in the first place, because I wasn't being allowed to see my daughter. I had a court order. She still wouldn't allow me to see my daughter. I couldn't come to the fact to put her in jail for contempt of court because she wasn't letting me see my daughter. Even, there was a court order. I definitely believe that there is an energy aspect going around, and I can definitely see that she might have been calling for me in a sense. And I do believe that I was brought back definitely for a reason. I don't believe that the charges that they gave me were substantial enough to give me 9 months in jail or expedite me back, but I believe that there is definitely a reason for my being brought back.
Well, how did they get you back to Milwaukee from Los Angeles?
Luckily, my higher power was also looking out for me on that one, because I've heard a lot of people, and I was in jail with people that were expedited from Texas. One guy was from Arkansas, and they were put in a tiny little van, shackled up on a hard steel bench, and drove back, and they spent nights in jails all across the United States, and they told me how horrible it was. And luckily, I got a nice little expensive plane ride back. It's going to cost me a little bit in court costs, but I think my comfort was worth it, because I couldn't imagine that the pain that these people were going through, all shackled up in the back of a van on steel benches for 7 days,
Yeah, I mean, just a 1-day trip on a Greyhound bus for me is torture.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done a couple 3-day Greyhound bus trips. Yeah, those are not fun.
Nathan, you and I both knew a few people out there on the streets of Hollywood that overdosed and died. And it's no secret that taking drugs and sharing needles and things can lead to STDs or even overdosing and dying. Weren't those risks enough to make you step back and think twice about trying to take that drug again?
It does come with the territory, the risks. I think my ultimate risk was dying. As a heroin addict, we all sign a little contract of death, if you will, where you're basically signing your life away when you're going to use heroin. You're accepting that you can die at any moment. Any next shot that you do, we were talking earlier about people that died. I don't know if you remember Bridget.
Yeah, Tyler's girlfriend, right?
Yeah, he was one of my best. Him and Bridget were. I was really, really close. I spoke with her the day before she died. What it was an allergic reaction, if you can believe that. I talked to her the night before she passed away, and she said, you know how scary it is to not be able to breathe? Like, just something you take for granted every day. Like, she was just explaining how terrifying that was. And then, of course, the next day, she passed away.
So I guess there's no way to tell whether or not you have a bag that's good or a bag that might end up killing you, right?
Yeah, that's the risk that I guess we take. We never know what it is we're getting, really, unless you go to a so-called dealer that has the same quality stuff every time, which is normally what I looked for. But you can go down to Skid Row, downtown Los Angeles, and get all types of different qualities. You can do a $20 bag of something and hardly even feel it, and then go to somebody else and get a $5 bag and almost overdose. That's the risk, is you never know. You really never know. You can do taste tests where you can just taste a little bit of it and kind of see the potency. But you really don't know until you get that drug in you. And that's what overdoes people a lot of times too, is they're not ready for that.
When someone gets high on heroin, do they lose all touch of reality and end up in like their own little world, so to speak?
Most definitely, especially in my addiction. I was trying to escape reality. I didn't want to deal with the pain I was going through. I think that's true for all addicts. I think we've all had a loss of connection, and like I was saying before, it's all about connection for me. I think we had a loss of connection with loved ones, with death. I've dealt with so much death, just emotional attachment. A lot of people become addicts because they lost things, and they lost the connection to something. And what we're doing is we're trying to fill a void, and we're not trying to feel anymore. We're trying to numb ourselves. So yeah, it's definitely a way of covering reality, so we don't have to see what's really going on. And me personally, I really wanted to lose touch of reality. I overdid it a lot of times.
So when you would go and do heroin, what were you running from? What kind of reality were you trying to escape yourself?
I think the best answer that I could give is society in general. What society thought that I should be, you know? What society says that you should become. I don't really like rules. I don't want to follow the path that everybody is going. I'm kind of an outsider, like most homeless street kids are. We don't agree with society's way of life. We don't want to be like a sheep type of person. I've seen a lot of people struggling. As a child, I've seen a lot of people struggling, going to work every day just to make ends meet. They hated their life. They hated their job. Full
of regrets, right?
Full, yeah. And because they hated their job, you know, they bring that stuff home, and then it affects their family life. You know, they can't just switch. I'm pretty good at just switching my emotions off because of the life that I lived. But normal people in normal society, they can't just switch their emotions off. They go to work, they have a horrible day at work, they bring it home to their family. Like a lot of police officers do that. I don't want to rag on the police or anything, you know. I can try to put myself in their shoes and understand the stress that they're going through, because they really do have to uphold the law and whatnot. And I think that they're only human, and I think that they take it way too far. And they take it out on the weak sometimes. That's what I've seen, especially with the Los Angeles Police Department.
Oh, yeah.
LAPD takes out their aggression on what they perceive as weak individuals, old homeless people that can't defend themselves. And if they sense any type of weakness in you whatsoever, all of a sudden they become a monster. you really have to battle it out with these cops. You really have to tell them, hey, listen, I'm not going to tolerate your abuse, officer. And that's just one example. And I could give 1,000 examples of somebody that goes to an office building every day, like a businessman, and he's like a lawyer or something that constantly has to battle like a law broker or a stockbroker, whatever. They constantly have this stress going on, and people are just aggravated at whatever they're going through, and they take it out on other people.
On a more positive note, Nathan, let's talk about that intro when Tyrese actually came up and started to film you. Give us some details about that story.
We could talk about that because that's a good story. I was flying my sign on Franklin and Highland, and me being a dick, when I see Range Rovers and Rolls Royces and Ferraris, I know they're not going to give me nothing. I know they're not going to give anything. That's just normally how it is. There were a few that were very nice to me. A designer that used to give me $20 every time he seen me. He was also homeless in London, and he made it big out there in Los Angeles and Hollywood, becoming the designer. He designs for a lot of celebrities, for like the Oscars and stuff like that, for all types of events, for these super celebrities, if you will. Common, Usher, I think he, who else? I can't remember exactly who else he was designing for. But anyways, he was very nice, and he always told me to keep my head up, that things are going to get better, just always remain positive, things are going to happen. But the story with Tyrese is actually very interesting, because I was flying my sign, like I said, when I walked the line, and I seen his truck, and I kind of gave it like a little smirk, because I noticed it was a really nice $250,000 Range Rover, and I kind of gave it a smirk, and he didn't just pull over right there. He had to drive all the way down to the boulevard, and traffic is always jam-packed, so he really had to take time out of his day, or whatever he was doing. He didn't just see me and just, pull over real quick. He had to go through a U-turn process to drive all the way down to Highland, and then go around in that neighborhood and come all the way back up to Franklin. It took him I'd say about 20 minutes to get back. From the time I remember seeing the truck to the time he got back, it was about 20, 25 minutes. I think he got some bad play for that. I seen a video that he was explaining that people were saying, you're using homeless people, that he was trying to take advantage of being nice to a homeless person to get recognition. And I don't see it as that at all. I think he's been through rough times, if you will, to where he understands people where they are, and he doesn't just look down on people like, you're homeless. Well, he didn't even see that I was really. And he says I was a homeless man, but he didn't see that. He seen potential and something better for me, and he wasn't asking for anything out of it. He just wanted to put me out there to gain publicity through him, because he knew he had this huge following, and he just wanted to put my face out there.
You're tuned in to Smooth Talk Radio, and we'll be right back with our guest, Nathan Osheim. Do you have any ambitions on getting back to Los Angeles in the near future?
I do have ambitions to get back out to Los Angeles, but they are focused in a different aspect. I would never go. I'm 30 years old now. I never expected to be 30 years old. I always thought, I had this kind of Peter Pan theory, like, I'm never going to grow up. I'm always going to be a kid, and I just want to live my life, the way I want to live it. And I didn't think I was going to live past 30. I really didn't. I didn't expect it. And, right now, I'm trying to get my life together I'm done with all the complete chaos. I still enjoy a little shenanigans once in a while. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy battling wits and just like a psychological kind of warfare going on in the world. I like to understand different perspectives. I like to see things from other points of view, and I like a little chaos in my life, if you will. But like I said, I want to have structure in my life. I'd like to become a better person for my daughter. And to answer your question, I most definitely would like to go back to Los Angeles just as a different person, as a more financially structured, stronger individual, to where maybe I could set something up while I'm in Milwaukee, to set something up in Los Angeles, to where I can build a relationship with producers or agencies or what have you. I wouldn't just go out there again for nothing. I would like to further my career in modeling and acting and what have you in Los Angeles, because that's where it's at. That's huge for the industry out there. I would definitely like to further my career in modeling and acting, but I'm just not focused on it right this second because I'm so focused on becoming a member of society that we live in, you know?
Was that a hard transition for you to make? Being out there once on the streets and having not a care in the world, to now having a job, becoming more structured, being sober, and just an upright citizen. Was that transition hard for you to make?
Well, I don't want to say that I didn't have a choice, because I did have a choice, I guess, in the matter. I had a lot of time to think about it, to kind of transition to think through a lot of things. The 9 months I just did in jail, and I had a lot of time to think, most definitely. I think the biggest thing for me right now is, like, of course, I've been through some really good rehabilitation programs where they've counseled me in behavioral change. It's not just about the drug. I mean, it's about the drugs and blah blah blah, but it's about your behavior and how you act and how you want to be perceived in life. And I went through some hard times with in counseling too. A counselor had me dig a mock grave with a spoon, because that's basically what I was doing in my addiction. I was digging a grave with the spoon, and the counselor didn't make me do it that much. It wasn't to like super traumatize me, but he did kind of traumatize me. And he had me get up, and he says, "All right, so you think that you can put yourself in other people's shoes, and you think that you can?" Because I commend myself on being able to do that. Not too many people can do that on a whim. And I enjoy putting myself in other people's perspective. And he knew that. And he said, "All right, I want you to put yourself in the perspective of your daughter." He said, "I want you to look at this grave, and I want you to see it from your daughter's perspective of, there's my daddy. People are going to ask, where's your dad?" And yeah, that was pretty much where I just like broke down and really decided like I wanted change. It didn't happen so quickly, you know, but it definitely changed my mind a lot. That made me a lot stronger to see it from that point of view, because in my addiction, I don't want to say I didn't care. Like, I had these feelings like I wasn't there for my daughter and whatnot, and that really hurt me, and you know, it still hurts. And that's probably one of the big things I was trying to cover up with the drugs is, you know, different pain aspects of like that and stuff. So, yeah, right now I'm just trying to be a better person for me so that I can be a better person for my daughter. That's my lifelong goal right now. Like I said, I would like to pursue my modeling and acting career, but that's just not reality right now, because it takes a lot, you know, and basically right now I'm just trying to maintain a civilized life of working and being what society looks at as responsible, if you will, a responsible adult. Not too responsible to have these dreams, and in their eyes, I'm not saying I believe this, but it's not responsible to have false perceptions of reality where you're just, you're just dreaming along and, I'm going to be an actor one day and I'm going to be, I'm going to get this $1 million sooner or later and, things are going to be great. And people just look at you like, is there something wrong with you mentally, or what kind of state of mind are you in, man? Because we just need to hit you with a hammer and you need to go to work, get a job, the normal society way of thinking.
I knew that you were sleeping under the bridge, and I've heard so many different stories about what goes on there. So why don't you give us a story about what happens under the bridge?
What happens under the bridge? Well, you gotta be strong, man. You gotta be strong to survive in any aspect of life, especially on the street. You really have to stand your ground and mark your territory and not let people, come in and walk over you. I mean, it's an open area, right? So people think that they can just come in and move in and do whatever they want, and then you start getting people like steal your stuff, and you come back and people are, laying on your bed, bleeding all over your bed and stuff, and there's a lot of drug abuse too. So yeah, you kind of have to, if you have your stuff there, you kind of gotta have an authority about, this is my stuff, and we don't want you under here. And Mark, my good friend Mark, that was also under that bridge. That's actually his bridge, matter of fact. He just kind of shared it with me because he knew I was a really good guy, and I wasn't up to no good. I was a very solid individual. He understood my attitude on things. I also felt very prideful of the possessions that I did have. Like I said, I always had like a really nice mattress, and had stuff that I kind of held dear, at moments. It would always get taken away, and I'd have to start all over again eventually, which is just the way of life as a homeless person. But yeah, you kind of have to hold your territory, because you don't just want people coming in and bothering you, and it's hard to do that being homeless, because it is an open area. You get a lot of people that come in, this isn't your bridge, but I'm living here,
On that Tyrese video that you and him made, you spoke about turning your life around and checking yourself into a rehab. So from that, do you feel that the universe responded back to you in a positive way?
That is an awesome question, because I held that belief for a long time that if I was good, that I would get good back. It didn't turn out so well for me. In my homelessness, I tried to, give it all to God and let God put me on His path or whatnot, and put good out there and receive good back, and it didn't seem to work out too well. That's kind of why I have an issue with religion or what people perceive as God and whatnot. I believe there's a lot of contradictions to the basis of what people's beliefs are in religion, spirituality. I have this. I know people aren't going to agree with what I'm saying, and I don't hold it against them. But I don't have the power to put hope into anything anymore, and just like saying, I hope it gets better. I hope God, puts me on the right path. I hope things will work themselves out. I hate that quote. I can't stand it. I hope things will work themselves out. I don't believe in hope anymore. And I want to explain myself, because I believe people are going to look at that in a negative aspect, like, oh my God, this guy doesn't have hope anymore. He's lost it, He's just an empty soul. But it's not like that. What I believe in is action. I can't have hope anymore, because if I have hope that things are going to work themselves out, then I'm putting a false sense out there to where things are going to work themselves. When I truly believe in my human self. As of now, I believe in myself as a very strong-minded individual and a human. And instead of hoping for things to work themselves out, I believe that I can put in the maximum amount of effort that is necessary to work things out. I don't like to believe in a so-said God that's going to give me kind and generous to everybody, and sooner more than later they got taken advantage of. They got everything taken from them, every scrap of food that they had, because they wanted to be generous and helpful, and they became lesser of a human being because of it, and they lost a lot.
Well, out there on the streets, I've always felt that you were a pretty kind-hearted person yourself. I mean, if any of us were thirsty, you would go into that Subway there and get us a refill on a soda. You would feed us, you would loan people money without expecting anything back. I mean, you were a pretty kind-hearted person out there.
That's really good to hear, because I hear that from a lot of people, especially other homeless people, like, man, Nate, you really did this for me and that for me, and I really like to hear that, because that's just the real type of person that I was, and that was just me being real. That was just me being, like, the deepest core of me, you know what I mean? Like, and then you said, like, going into Subway and getting, filling up the fountain drink. That was wrong. Like, I would, being in the mind state that I was, anti-society, I don't live by rules, anarchy or whatever you want to call it. I get a cup out of the garbage can and then I go in there and I just fill it up, out of their fountain. But that was wrong in the sense that they seen that as wrong, but you see it as me helping you out.
Being out there in Hollywood and interacting with huge celebrities yourself and everything, did you see any weird things going on, like secret societies or the Illuminati? Did you experience anything like that while you were out there?
Yeah, there definitely is other entities of belief systems that people have out there, and I'm sure there's a lot of sick people. After the Tyrese video, I was approached by many, many, many different types of people in walks of life, and a lot of people were weird. I got approached by this lady who told me, "Oh, be careful, because Tyrese is, blah blah blah, and he's part of this organization or whatever, and he's trying to get you involved in it so he can sacrifice you," or some crazy, just off the wall type of ordeal I had with this lady. And then the end of the conversation was that she was part of some organization. And I'm just sitting there listening, because I like to, I don't really know even how to explain it, but just the psychology based of how people think, why they think, what they think, how they think. It amazes me. It's funny that you bring that up, because there were some very weird people that wanted to, hey, get in the car, we'll take you to here and there, and I'm like, not getting the right vibe from you,
Going on to other celebrities that you interacted with out there, Gerald Butler was one of them. Do you want to tell us about that story?
Well, I kind of noticed him, and he waved me over to the car, and again, he was in a Range Rover, brand new Range Rover, $100,000 car or whatever. So he kind of waved me over, and I was like, really? This Range Rover's going to give me something? Okay. Good day. Maybe he's going to give me something good, So I walk over, and he's like, hey, how are you doing? In that accent, the Gerard Butler accent, And I noticed it right off bat, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And I said, that accent, who are you? And he was like, yes. And I was like, I can't put my finger on it. I was like, you're somebody, man. You're somebody. I know you're somebody. He's like, yes, I am somebody. Yes, I am somebody. He seemed like he was extremely nice, easygoing type of guy. For him to be at the plateau of stardom that he's at, and for him to wave over a homeless guy to kind of start to conversate with, that shows volumes. I don't know if I could do that. I mean, being in the lifestyle that I lived, I think I could do that. I don't know if Gerard Butler was ever in that position. But anyways, I think he gave me $20 or something, and then he was like, yes, I'm Gerard Butler. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, no way, you're Sparta. So that was pretty cool.
It sounds like you were really starting to establish yourself out there, getting to know famous people and things like that.
Yeah, I just started getting to the point where I wanted to be, I just started, I had a lot of opportunities with different photographers and actors and a couple of different producers. I I had lawyers that were coming out and telling me, hey, man, if you ever need anything, if anybody ever wants you to sign a contract and you're unsure of something, give me a call. I'll do everything for free. You know, I was taking a lot of opportunities that I felt were right for me, that I had a good vibe about or whatnot. A couple photographers I hooked up with. There were a few actors that I was just starting to get things going with. A good friend of mine, James, took me in. He's from the UK, young. He was 19 at the time, and he was in Los Angeles doing some work for a huge organization that was funding him. He didn't really go too much into detail, and I think he was kind of trying to hide what he was doing because what he was doing was under wraps, if you will. He couldn't let too much knowledge out there because people can steal your ideas, you know, in a second. And, you know, he didn't have I believe he didn't have a copyright on exactly what he was doing. He was just trying to connect with the right people in Los Angeles because, you know, that's where it's at, man. And he was trying to push his product out there, if you will. And he showed me a little bit of what he was doing and stuff. I kind of built this relationship with him, and he had a little crew with him that there was a photographer, and he did all the editing, and I did a couple video shoots with them, and he brought me to a couple places of people that he knew, designer labels. We'd go to these stores, and they'd, you know, pick out whatever you want. One of his members of his crew would help me, you know, mix and match what I thought was what was appropriate for me, and then he would kind of mix other stuff in there to offset the colors, bring out my eyes. You know, they had makeup artists come in and do makeup. It was very professional. It was an experience in itself for me to really see where I could go with this. We did a couple photo shoots. He did a few videos of me, different poses, I was so natural. I blew myself out of the water, man. I didn't know who that person was on that camera when he edited it and showed me back just me, you know. And it looked amazing. It looked like a commercial that you would see on TV. It was something else to see me in that aspect. It really gave me the motivation that I needed to be like, you know what? Yeah, I really could be somebody like this. Just proves to myself that, you know, I can see myself definitely becoming something.
Given any frustrations that you might have from being in Hollywood and starting to establish yourself, then to be extradited back home to Milwaukee, do you still find yourself happy at the moment?
I am more than happy to be back. I love the fact that I'm back with my daughter. She's to that age now where she knows she has a dad and she wants me to be in her life, and I want to be in her life. I've always wanted to be in her life, but I had issues that were going on with, like I said, with the mother of the child. The mother of the child right now is being very cordial. She has a boyfriend, you know, that she's been dating for a while, and I'm not too sure yet exactly who he is. I've heard stories that he is a very nice, soft-spoken gentleman type, and that's exactly what I would want for her. You know, she's a great mother. She's a great person, really. She has I don't want to put her out there like that. She has a couple issues with. I don't think she's fully bipolar. I don't really believe in titles like that. Anyways, to begin with, I think society puts titles on people wrongfully. I think everyone is quote unquote bipolar, attention deficit disorder, whatever issue you have. I think she just. I think we all, as a race, are confused at times. I think we all go through confusion, and some of us don't know how to handle it as well as others, and some of us just become really negative. And I'd like to just commend her for staying positive right now in a kind of negative part of my life, that she's letting me see my daughter. Like, I can definitely put myself in her shoes and see me from her perspective, and I'm just trying to prove myself that can be what she wants me to be.
Well, Nathan, unfortunately, we've run out of time tonight at Smooth Talk Radio. So what we're going to do is give you a call back here in a few days and interview you again, and we'll make a part 2 of this episode right here.
Just one last thing I want to put out there, just as an end. Like we were talking about, I got a lot of people that told me that I could be something, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are down and out, that people tell them they could be something in whatever category it is. If you play music, or if you look good to be a model, or you're a good actor, or whatever it is that someone sees in you. I think that I wish I would have put more effort into what these people seen, and I wish I would have started up and just played around in some type of advertisement like Facebook or whatnot, to just play around with the ideals that these people basically put in my head. If somebody says that you're good at something, don't take that with stride. Take it with stride. Don't take it with like a grain of salt, because that kind of held me back to where I didn't think I was good enough, or because I was homeless, I didn't feel like I had the potential that all these people were telling me. And I just want to put it out there that if someone tells you that you are something, at least give it a chance, man, because the sky's the limit.
That wraps up this episode of Smooth Talk Radio. We'd like to thank our guest, Nathan Osheim, for participating on this episode. A special thanks goes out to Tyrese Gibson, Chris Coxon, Nikki and Chris Fry, Wake and Bake Beats, DC, and all of the other members that helped put this together. Be sure to check out part 2 of this episode on Smooth Talk Radio.
Amazing what this medical grade marijuana can do for the vast variety of illnesses, and I think it'll be very beneficial to mankind.